Oh baby, it's this fucking horse beef here, and I'm bringing you another video. And today I'm going to be covering a topic that's been covered ad nauseum, I believe, and that is a nightmare matchup for each champion within the UFC. Now, this is going to be just male champions because me personally, I don't care about the female champs. I see a very specific group of these female fighters becoming champ or staying champ. The skill gap between the best females and then everyone else is just, for me, it's a little bit too large, and there's just nothing particularly interesting about these female divisions at the moment. So I'm sticking to the men, so let's just get into it, man. And the first one up, we have the champion Alexander Pantoja versus, for me, his nightmare matchup in Tatsuro Taira. And I just believe that he can beat Pantoja because he offers a unique submission threat on the ground. I don't think Pantoja could just walk forward towards him and just, force a takedown attempt like he can normally do against these other flyweights, because he does seem to have them beaten on the ground for the most part. But I do feel like Tatsuro Taira is so elite on the ground and provides threats from all different angles, all different positions on the ground. As we saw against Alex Perez, he's capable of some very unique techniques in there and on the ground. I think these Japanese fighters just seem to have this very unique style on the ground. Like him, Rei Suraya, they look very threatening down there. And they're finishers. They go for finishes at all times. And I do think that Tatsuro Taira, whether on the bottom or on top, I feel like he can get it done against Pantoja, and he's good enough on the feet too, to where Pantoja will have a lot to think about in there, right? He won't be able to walk through shots and get the fight to the ground all willy-nilly, because there is that threat on the ground. Now, I'm not saying that Tatsuro Taira has the power in his hands to put Pantoja away on the feet. I actually don't think so. I don't think that any flyweight really has the power in their hands to put down Pantoja. But it's the unique threat on the ground, and I think he can match him down there and potentially submit him. So that's why I have Tatsuro Taira as his nightmare matchup. And then we have the 135 champion Sean O'Malley, and for me, his nightmare matchup is somebody who, in my opinion, already beat him, and that is Peter Yan. Now, of course, Peter Yan's going to be out for a little bit with all those injuries he picked up against Song Yadong, and I think before the fight as well. But the best matchup against Sean O'Malley is someone who can mix the martial arts, and for me, Peter Yan is one of the best in the UFC at mixing up the martial arts, right? He doesn't just shoot for takedowns like Merab will. I actually believe that Sean O'Malley, upon thinking about that fight, I actually think that Sean can catch Merab quite easily, because Merab, for me, is very predictable with his takedown attempts, and there's the same reason why he's able to knock out Aljamain Sterling the way that he was, is because he went in for lazy attempts. Peter Yan doesn't go in for lazy attempts. He sets up his shots, and he just mixes it up so well. Gives Sean O'Malley so much to think about, and the reason why I'm so confident with this pick is because we've already seen the proof in the pudding. We've seen Sean O'Malley struggle big time against Peter Yan in all three rounds, despite the fact that a lot of fans think that third round was the obvious round that won Sean O'Malley the fight, even though Peter Yan was countering him like crazy and mixing in takedowns there. And of course, there will be the Sean O'Malley fans that say that he turned Peter Yan into a wrestler, but Peter Yan's always been a well-rounded mixed martial artist, and I believe that if he was to fight Sean O'Malley again, I think we would see more of the same, and in a 5-round fight, I think he would finish him. So that's why I have Peter Yan as Sean O'Malley's nightmare matchup. And next up, we have the 145-pound champion Ilia Topuria, and for me, it's Max Holloway. It's not really an argument. I feel like everyone picks Max Holloway as his nightmare matchup, and now this fight is pretty much confirmed, I believe, for the Sphere card. And I personally believe that Max Holloway has a very good chance of beating Topuria, although I don't count out Topuria against anybody, because for me, he's one of the most elite fighters in the UFC. He has some of the best hands, and he's an elite grappler. Crazy power at 145. And I believe if anyone's going to knock out Max Holloway, it might just be Ilia Topuria. But for me, Max Holloway's chin is too overpowered. His cardio is too overpowered. His volume striking is so effective. And I do believe that in a 5-round fight, if anyone's going to gas out Ilia and finish him, it would be Max Holloway probably in the 4th or 5th round, because I do believe he can put a beating on Topuria if he does get that snowball effect going, similar to how we did against Justin Gaethje. Although I do think Topuria is a higher level fighter than Justin Gaethje, I just think stylistically the chin that Max has, if Ilia can't put him out, then he's in for a very long, grueling fight, because I don't think that Topuria can really put a masterclass on him the same way he did to Josh Emmett. Max Holloway is just a much different type of fighter with much different style, and I just think that Ilia knows it too, that it's a very tough fight for him. Although I don't count him out, it's still a nightmare matchup stylistically. In my personal opinion, Max Holloway can get it done against Ilia Topuria. And next up, we have Islam Makhachev. Now, it is tough to find a nightmare matchup for him because he's so well-rounded, but for me, it's this unranked fighter who's looked incredible recently, and that is Ludovic Klein. Now, he showed against Thiago Moises that his hips are incredible, man. He has these incredibly dexterous hips that he's able to shoot down at any moment, to stuff a takedown and get those kicks up high at seemingly at any range. And I do feel like that high level takedown defense that he showed against Thiago Moises, if he's able to apply that against Islam Makhachev and keep the fight on the feet, if it becomes a stand-up battle, right, at any point in that fight, Ludovic Klein will be able to catch Islam, because for me, he's one of the highest level strikers in the UFC. But of course, it is predicated on him being able to keep the fight on the feet. And of course, we haven't seen him defend takedowns against somebody as nearly as high level as Islam Makhachev. So of course, this is mostly just conjecture. But from what I've seen, based on the eye test, Ludovic Klein has improved tenfold, looks excellent on the feet, shows elite level takedown defense against Thiago Moises, that is, of course, right? We'd love to see maybe someone against Gamrot first. If he's able to do it against Gamrot, then I'd be a lot more confident in my pick here. And of course, I am, as the kids nowadays say, a glazer of Ludovic Klein. I think he's extremely high level, and I'm a big fan of his. But my fandom doesn't really influence my decision here to put him down as the nightmare matchup for Islam Makhachev. It's just based on what I see, and what I see is a very, very high level kickboxer with excellent takedown defense, very similar to Rafael Fiziev, but for me, I think he's even better than Rafael Fiziev, so that's why he is my nightmare matchup for Islam Makhachev. And then we have another one that could be potentially very obvious, similar to my Ilya Topuria pick with Max Holloway, right? Shavkat Rakhmonov against Leon, right? He's well-rounded, great on the feet, he's a finisher, and he's very, very dominant on the ground. Now, of course, Leon Edwards could very easily, I think, pick apart Shavkat Rakhmonov on the feet. I do think he's a bit more tactical and clean on the feet, because Shavkat doesn't move his head up the center line. He kind of just moves forward at times, as we saw against Jeff Neal, and he welcomes a war. I've never seen Leon Edwards welcome a war, and if he, being Shavkat Rakhmonov, allows Leon to make the fight a technical stand-up battle, then of course Shavkat will lose the fight. But if he mixes it up, right, pressures him against the fence, I believe that Shavkat can get it done on the feet or on the ground, as long as he provides a genuine takedown threat. But we all know it. I don't have to explain to you how elite and well-rounded Shavkat Rakhmonov is. The proof is in the pudding. We've seen it against all of his opponents. He's dangerous. He's a finisher, although his defensive shortcomings, I think, could get him hurt against somebody like Leon Edwards. It wouldn't even surprise me to see Leon put him out with some kind of a head kick. But, I mean, it goes without saying, really, other than like Jack Della Maddalena, I do think that Shavkat Rakhmonov is the obvious pick for the nightmare matchup for Leon Edwards, man. And then we have the 185-pound champion, Dricus du Plessis. Now, of course, this could all change, because Israel Adesanya could very well beat him, and then this video pretty much means nothing. But for me, the real nightmare matchup for Dricus du Plessis is Cal Baralho. I think he's very well-rounded, similar to Dricus, but a little bit cleaner on the feet. And I think he could beat Dricus in any which way possible. I mean, really, we haven't seen Cal Baralho's grit get tested too much throughout his career. He's actually looked very good since he's joined the UFC. I think he has a great style, and these fighting nerds have looked incredible, man. That camp is one of the best upcoming camps at the moment. Like, look at John Silva's recent performances. He's looked exceptional. I think Cal Baralho is sort of like a bigger version of him. He's great on the ground and great on the feet. He's just so similar to Dricus, but Dricus is more battle tested. So of course I wouldn't be surprised if Cal Baralho was to get that chance and Dricus just cleans him out. But I do believe that Cal Baralho has the finishing ability on the ground and on the feet to deal with Dricus, and especially as he picks up more experience, higher up on the rankings at 185. I expect him personally to just improve and improve and improve, and eventually look like that future champ that I think a lot of people are predicting for him. So for me, he is a nightmare matchup for DDP. And then we have my most random pick of all of them, 100%. And is it based off logic? Absolutely not. It's just based off of my personal feeling that Dominic Reyes is about to embark on a legendary title run and reclaim what should have been his anyway. He should have had that win over the apparent MMA GOAT in John Jones, right? Dominic Reyes should never have had that downward spiral that he had, but he had it because he was robbed, and that's about it. Now, I do think that Dominic Reyes could win a couple of fights and get a title shot against Alex Pereira. Do I think it's likely? I have no clue whatsoever. Like I said, this is based off of emotion and emotion only, because I love Dominic Reyes. I loved his last performance against Justin Jacoby. And I think if anyone at 205 is able to land a clean shot on Alex Pereira, could you not foresee Alex Pereira sling a left hook and then get pull countered with that nasty pull left that Dominic Reyes has? And I know he doesn't provide that ground threat that someone like Ankalaev does, right? I get it. Ankalaev is the real nightmare matchup for Pereira. I understand that completely. But on the feet, the one who really threatens Alex Pereira's chin and Alex Pereira's reign is Dominic Reyes. So get ready for it. He's making that title run. It is coming. And when it does happen, if it does happen, of course, but when it does happen, he's cleaning out Alex Pereira's chin. As much as I don't want to see it happen because I love Poatan, but I fucking love an underdog story. So Dominic Reyes is the next one to become champ and beat Alex Pereira. Whether it happens or not, I think it's, he has the capabilities at least. And last but not least, we have John Bones Jones, and his nightmare matchup is the obvious one, the one that he's been ducking, and that is Tom Aspinall. I personally believe that this fight would not even be close. I think Tom is so fast, so young, so big, and so powerful, and so well-rounded that this old, tubby John Jones would have nothing for him, and he knows that. Because I think that Tom Aspinall already has the major mental advantage over John Jones, since Jones is so vehemently fighting for this fight against Stipe when he has a genuine contender, the interim champ of the division that he is champ in, and he doesn't want it. And it's clear and it's obvious why he doesn't want it, because he knows he's past his prime and he wants to fight another guy past his prime. Because Tom Aspinall, I believe, would be the first man to finish John Jones. I think it would be quite easy for him too. I believe anything that Jones has to offer him, Tom would have an answer for it. And I believe in the early couple of rounds, the early first one or two rounds, Tom would find him, whether that be on the feet or on the ground. But I do think that it is more likely that he finishes him on the feet, because I do think that as much as I'm really downplaying the threat that John Jones provides to Tom Aspinall, on the ground is where Jones really has a chance. But I don't think that it would even get there. I think it's really up to Tom Aspinall wherever the fight goes. And I think that he would finish John Jones on the feet and clean him out, man. So those are my picks for nightmare matchups for each individual male champion. The ones that really matter at the end of the day. So there we have it. Another video in the books. Let me know in the comments, of course, what you think about my picks for each individual nightmare matchup. If you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm right. And also let me know your suggestions. Like if you disagree, let me know who you think is a bigger nightmare matchup for each fighter, rather than just calling me an idiot or saying L video with your brain rot TikTok lingo. Whatever it is, just please at least be constructive. If you're going to be critical, it's what I would appreciate. But if you're going to leave a bog standard comment calling me a casual, then you're welcome to do that too, because freedom of speech is a beautiful thing on this platform we call YouTube. So of course, let me know in the comments as well any types of videos you'd like to see me post in the near future. I know I haven't made a tier list video in quite a while, and you guys did say that you enjoy the long videos, but I have been enjoying the more creative aspect of these types of videos, although I will upload a tier list video coming quite soon. So let me know any sort of tier list ideas that you have, because the reason why I haven't been posting those is because I just really ran out of ideas for compelling tier list content. So please let me know and reach out if you have any ideas that you'd like to see me covered, as always. And thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.